is Father Boniface. I'm the Director of Spiritual Formation at St. Vincent Seminary, and I'm grateful to be back with you during the Lenten season to offer some reflections on the Gospel and lead you in a little bit of Lectio Divina, as we did during the Advent season. Thanks to the Institute of Ministry Formation, we're able to offer you these little moments of a little extra spiritual formation and support on your own Lenten journey. Remember, Lectio has 4 stages: Lectio, Meditatio, Oratio, and Contemplatio, and we'll walk through that now for the first Sunday of Lent. Our Lectio is the Gospel for the first Sunday of Lent, and we can also look at the first reading from the book of Exodus, as well as the homily provided for us by Father Killian Loch, the Director of Campus Ministry at St. Vincent College. Father Killian helps us to read the Gospel and reflect on it and see how, in the beginning, back in Exodus, the Israelites entered into the desert for 40 years. They struggled, they murmured, they turned against God, they resisted. It's part of the reason it took them 40 years to get through the desert. In our Gospel passage, we remember that Jesus also went into the desert, in his case for 40 days. While the Israelites struggled and sinned, Jesus entered in perfectly. He was tempted like they were, but he resisted sin. He continued trusting in the Father. The good news is that we are somewhere in between as we enter into the desert for 40 days during this Lenten season. We will also be tempted and we will struggle, just like the Israelites and just like Jesus. But we have something the Israelites didn't. We have Jesus. He entered into our desert to support us, to be present to us, to be there when we need him, if we call out to him, if we place our trust in him. That's why it's so good for us at the beginning of this Lenten season to remember that we need to do that and to make a decision even now to do that. So in our Lectio, and now I've just led you through a little meditatio, a little meditation on this passage, and maybe we can hold on to the phrase that describes Jesus coming close to us. Remember, in the Gospel it says, he went into the wilderness, the desert, for 40 days. He went into the desert for 40 days. And we can remember that little phrase and hold on to it as we go into a time of prayer, anticipating the difficulties, the struggles, the temptations in our Lenten season and asking Jesus for his help. So let us pray. Jesus, you drew close to us by entering into our desert. You enter into our temptations. You're there for us when we're tempted. You're still there for us when we fall into sin. Help us always to reach up a hand to you. Help us to reach out to you. Help us to trust in you in our temptation. Help us to turn to you immediately, even when we fall into sin. Let our journey through this Lenten desert be one that is more like yours than the Israelites. Help us to turn away from sin and to turn back to you at every moment. And we can take this prayer into just a little time of contemplation, resting in God's presence. And that phrase, he went into the desert for 40 days, can help to support us and bring us back to him. He went into the desert for 40 days. He went into the desert for 40 days. Thank you for coming close to me, to be my support, Jesus. I encourage you to stay in that place of leaning on Jesus and to keep using that phrase, he went into the desert for 40 days, to keep you close to him. May it be a safeguard against falling into sin. May it be a strength for you in your temptations. And I hope you'll keep journeying with us throughout these Sundays of Lent as we reflect and do a little Lectio Divina together. You can see the other things we're offering through the Institute of Ministry Formation by going to the website imf.stvincentseminary.edu, or you can email us with your comments or questions by emailing imf@stvincent.edu. Thank you for being with us. Let us pray for each other.